Good evening and welcome to my fall 2023 evening routine as a family of 3. I have a pretty much 2-year-old and then I'm married to my husband Trajan, and this is what a typical evening looks like. Obviously, no evening is exactly the same, but this is just a general what we do in the evening time. Thank you guys all so much for being here, and let's go ahead with this evening routine. Our evenings typically start between 5 and 5:30. Me and Waverly go on a evening walk. It just helps get us tired and we get a little bit of movement outside. I don't know what we'll do once it gets to be cold outside. Today it was windy, so we didn't take that long of a walk, but then we go inside and I had a load of laundry that I needed to get into the dryer and I switched into some comfy clothes. Then I went ahead and I got Waverly some milk because we always give her milk and we find that it's better to do it before she starts eating her meal, and then she can have some too while she's eating, and water. And now it's back time to go put the clothes that I'm going to fold onto the couch, and then I'm going to switch the clothes that are in the washer to the dryer. So we usually get back from inside our walk around 6 o'clock, and I usually like to give Waverly her milk then, so she has a few minutes to kind of just play and relax for a little bit longer. And sometimes we will clean up her mess before she eats dinner, and then sometimes I will do it once she gets done with her bath. It just kind of depends. On this day, since we didn't take that long of a walk, it was a little bit earlier than normal, so once I got done folding laundry, I went ahead and I started to clean up the toys. And some days she's better about helping, other days she just likes to make more of a mess instead. So this day it was kind of in between. She kind of didn't at the same time. So that's kind of what we do. And then my husband Trajan is an electrician and he works in construction of new home builds. And so with that, they end up working basically until it gets dark. And so a lot of times he'll get home between 7 to 8 p.m., sometimes 8:30. So on this night he got home around 7:30. So I do most of the evening routine with Waverly, and then he's most of the time able to come home, play with her for a few minutes, and spend time with her, read stories, and she absolutely loves it and looks forward to him reading stories. And there is some days that he doesn't get to see her, which it is sad, but that's just how it is. And I will do the whole bedtime routine with her. But that's kind of a general, depending on how long we work. And this day ended up working out that he did get home around 7:30, so he was able to see her. Okay, now we're going to move on into making Waverly dinner, and usually I like to make this around 6:15, 6:20. I don't stay true to exact times. When we were first getting this routine nailed back down after Waverly went through a stage of not sleeping for a couple of months, having a hard time, I stayed strict to the minute. But now that she has gotten used to it, we're able to fluctuate that a little bit. So around 6:15, 6:20, I start to make dinner, so that way around 6:30 she can have it. And most nights she ends up having Trajan and I's leftovers, or I'll just make her something small. Like today I'm having her eat green beans and a cheese quesadilla. It's nothing major, but it's something that she will like, and we usually like to make it a point to eat together on the weekends when Trajan is home. So that's usually what we do, and it can be hard, the fact that she like is eating her meals like before we're even eating, but it's just how it is right now. And I know eventually we'll be able to eat meals all together when she can stay up a little bit later and still be happy. So that's just kind of how we are. But I usually try to, a couple of times a week, make her more of a substantial meal, and then other times it's just chicken nuggets, or like today it's just a cheese quesadilla, but she likes it, so that's all that matters. And then I wanted to show, while I was making dinner, she brought her barn and all of her toys over here and was playing really good. She never really does that too much, so I think it's just as she's getting older, she's just kind of figuring out that she can play, and she's like learning make-believe almost. So that's what she was doing while I was getting her food ready, and most of the time she will just sit and drink her milk, or play with her baby or whatever. And I usually try not to have the TV on too much at this point, just so that way she's starting to kind of wind down. She knows that we're getting towards the end of the day and we're getting ready for bed. So I'm just cutting up her quesadilla into small bites, and then I will give her her green beans and give her a fork and get her in her high chair. Waverly has figured out how to get into her high chair by herself, so it's surprising the days that she has me just like put her in there, and then sometimes when she climbs in there and then is ready for her seatbelt. And today she wanted me to put her in there, so I did. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and put her little cover, I don't know what her bib, and then her like table part. Why can I not think of like what it's called? But I'm going to put that on there, and then here's just her eating her green beans. She loves green beans so much. And then once she's kind of ate a little bit more, I've shared in like my morning routine, we usually wait to give her fruit until she's finished her like main course, because she will not eat her food once she gets like her grapes. And that's like, also the other day she had eggs and cottage cheese, and I thought she was going to be okay having that. And I definitely should have waited to give her the cottage cheese, because I know that she loves cottage cheese, because she didn't touch her eggs. She only wanted the cottage cheese. So I just definitely have to be mindful, and it's a hard, because I want to be able to feed her it all, and then I think it's just as she gets older and will be able to reason a little bit more, she'll start to understand. But right now she just doesn't comprehend that. She just really wants her grapes or watermelon or whatever kind of fruit we have. So I just let her eat that for a little bit, and I usually am just hanging out, talking to her as she eats. And then while she's still in her high chair, I like to take out her hair, because it's easier while she's sitting, especially if I do like a ton of ponytails in her hair. I'll usually take it out while she eats or whatever. And then I usually like to wipe off her hands a little bit, just until we get into the bathroom, because sometimes her hands can be goopy. Sometimes if she's really messy though, she just goes straight to the bath. But I knew Trajan was going to be getting home probably while we were in the bath, because he had texted saying he was on his way home. So I wanted to clean this up since it was right in front of the front door, and afterwards we'll head into the bathroom to give Waverly a bath. When Waverly went through a phase of not wanting to sleep, we made a few changes, and one of the changes is instead of having her take a bath every couple of days, we have her take a bath every single day. And she does not like to get her hair washed every day, so about every like 2 to 3 days I will wash her hair, and she's found the bath more enjoyable. We also have to do this every single time. We have to take all the shampoos and put them onto the floor because she likes to play with them and open them and spill them everywhere. So she knows this is a routine to set them down right here. And then she also, once we take off her clothes, will take them to her hamper. She's very responsible about that, and she knows like that's her responsibility, and it's so cute that she's figuring that out. But we figured out that having her take a bath every day just helps her wind down, and just the little things really help kids understand that it's getting time for bed. Because a lot of the times, I think before, her issues of not wanting to go to bed were she didn't have set things. Every day was so different. She never had a set routine. So having just little things to help remind her that it's getting time for bed helps. Like, for example, when we get done with our walks, 9 times out of 10 we walk in the door, milk. She knows that when we get done with our walk, it is time for milk. And it's hard when we end up going to bed, going for our walks earlier, because she then thinks it's time to get ready for bed, and it's not. So it's nice that she has that structure. And my contacts were starting to bug me, so I was like, I'm taking them out. And then my husband had gotten home right when I got her out of the bath, so as soon as I got her dressed, he was playing with her for a minute, and they just were having fun for the little bit that he was here. She just really wanted to run around and play that way with him, and then they were laying down, and she was climbing all over, and they just were having fun. And that's usually how they end up playing. They don't really play with toys that much. They end up just like playing that way. But Waverly knows to put her towel also in there, so when we went into her room, she put that in her laundry basket, and then we were starting to read stories. We read between like 4 and 5 stories, and we usually try to be in her room between like 7:45, 7:50. Sometimes it doesn't happen. I think this day she went to bed past 8, which is fine because she ended up not going to bed right then because she had taken a pretty long nap. But her attention span has like lasted so much longer lately, so she can read long books. And then one thing we also implemented was having her listen to music at night, because what we found is we think that when she woke up in the middle of the night, she just like dead silence and there was nothing. So having her have little music helps so much. And she's also gotten really attached to stuffed animals, and that's something we also have helped. Is she started out with just sleeping with her bear. Now she sleeps with her bear, her Minnie Mouse, her baby, and then a little cow. And she loves all 3 of those things, and we have to take them everywhere we go. But then we usually give her kisses and loves, and then I will lay her down and she'll give kisses to all of her stuffed animals. I'll put the blanket on her, and then I say I love you, good night, sleep good, and then I'll say I'll check on you in a few minutes if you're still awake, but if not, have a good night. So that way she knows like I am still here and I am ready, and I will come in and check on you if you're still awake, but good night too, like have a good sleep. So that's usually what we've done, and it usually helps. And we go in there every so often if she does start to not want to go to bed. So now my hair's up and I'm going ahead and getting dinner ready, and this is the time that me and Trajan can kind of talk and catch up. We usually always make dinner once she just goes to bed, unless he isn't home. By the time she gets home, she goes to bed, I will start to make dinner when he says he's headed home. But we usually catch up during this time, talk about our days. And it was funny right here, he did not realize that I was filming, and he does not want to be on camera too much, so he was like, oh okay, I'm getting out. And then he was like, I need to wear a hat, so he went and grabbed a hat. And I don't even know if you actually end up seeing him with a hat on at all. But yeah, today we're just going simple with our dinner. We're just making Alfredo with pasta, and yeah, just keeping it really simple. And here in a few minutes, once we actually start to eat, we've checked on her a few minutes, we ended up having to actually bring her out And whenever she does this, we're like, oh, she just wants second dinner and just wants like some of our dinner because she just can hear us eating her and stuff. So that's kind of how it goes. But while I'm making dinner, we're just talking, and then I also will sometimes tackle the dishes. It just kind of depends on my mood. So I was just going to hurry and quickly wash Waverly's dishes, and then the dishwasher was clean and I did not feel like doing the dishes, and neither did my husband, so I just left those, and we didn't have that many dishes in the sink, so I was like, I'll just leave it and then I'll just do all the dishes tomorrow. And then usually we end up tag teaming dinner, like he'll do some things and I'll do some things as we're talking, but this night it was super easy and low-key dinner, so I could handle it, and he didn't really want to be on film. Also, if you get like the canned Alfredo sauce, add cayenne pepper to it. It gives it a little bit of a kick and just makes it taste a little bit better, so we always do that. So I just put in also some peas into the microwave for our vegetable, and like I said, just keeping things really simple and easy for this dinner. And the peas were really hot when I got them out, and you're gonna see I keep saying ow ow. I should have just waited like a few minutes to open it, but I was impatient and hungry, so I did not wait. Some days were better about adding like extra protein in our dinners, and other days were not, where we were just wanting something super easy and we didn't really want to cook. We just left out cooking chicken. Usually we'll do like grilled chicken with it and with barbecue sauce, or just like plain, but we were just not feeling it this day. And then sometimes we have like pops when we eat dinner, other times we don't. Usually during the week we end up not, but we had gotten some for Trajan's lunches, and he just hasn't really been drinking it for lunches, so we've been drinking them for dinner. So I went ahead and got a Mountain Dew as well, and then we will sit on the couch and we'll watch a show together. We've watched The Resident and we finished that, and now we've been watching season 5 of Yellowstone. We've been catching up on The Resident, so we weren't able to watch Yellowstone yet, so we got that going. And we just sat and ate dinner, and then we also just talked for a little bit, and then Waverly came out soon. But I didn't show her, actually, I think, after any of these clips. She was not wanting to go to bed, so we let her stay out for a little bit, and then we put her back in her crib, and she fell asleep for the rest of the evening. And then once I've ate my dinner, I usually will pull up my laptop if I have any editing to do. This particular night, I needed to finish getting a video ready. I had mainly everything done. I just needed to do the thumbnail and add a few finishing touches on it. And if you watched my Wednesday's video, then if you got it in the first little bit, you'll notice that I didn't have a thumbnail in it. As you saw, like, it saved as the thumbnail, but it didn't upload right. Luckily, I caught it pretty quick, so I was able to fix it. Little things happen like that, but I just wanted to get that all done. Like I said, I just had to do like a few things. I usually try to keep things like pretty small, but I also like to not spend that much time editing and doing things while Waverly's awake. So I really try to utilize her nap times, and if I wake up early or if Trajan's working late, sometimes it can be nice so I can get a little bit of editing done, because there are some times too that he doesn't get home until after 9, and so I have like an hour once I put her to bed to get everything done that I need to. So I usually try to keep it to like 30 to 40 minutes that I'm editing. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. This particular night it took me like 20 minutes. Then once I had put Waverly down for the night, I think this was, I don't even know what time it was. It was like a little bit later after I'd put Waverly to bed. I was like, I'm gonna take off my makeup and get ready for bed. I want to say this was like 10:30. I had actually gotten ready earlier. Normally we usually try to start getting ready for bed by 11, and we really should try to go to bed earlier. And lately we actually have. Like I said, I think we were in bed by like 11 this day, which is early for us. So I'm going ahead, taking off my makeup, washing my face, brushing my teeth, and flossing. And I also, now I'm just thinking about it, I also have Waverly brush her teeth in the bath. I find it's easier. She's already in the water and she just gets it done, and it keeps her occupied. So that's also another thing we do in the bathtub with her. Now that I'm done with all of that, I'm going ahead and I'm cleaning up dinner. For the most part, I usually always leave the dishes in the sink. I usually always like to at least have them in the sink. I don't necessarily care if they're done. I just want the counters cleared off. So I will usually put the food in the containers to put in the fridge, put the dishes in the sink, and then wipe down the counters, and that's good enough for me. Sometimes I'm more ambitious and I'll get it done. It just kind of depends on my mood. But sometimes I'm not cleaning up dinner, Trajan will, and I will roll down the bed, or he'll roll down the bed and I'll do the cleaning up dinner, and then we'll also alternate like who's getting vitamins. It kind of just depends who's up and in the kitchen at the moment. Today I was in the kitchen as we were getting ready for bed, so I went ahead and cleaned up dinner, and I also got the vitamins, and you'll see in just a second. We don't take anything too crazy, just like a couple of things. So that's just kind of like how I like to have things for the night, and some people are more particular. That's just how we are. It could be a lot worse, our house. It could be a lot more messy, but this I think is a good method for us. Once I get done taking my vitamins and everything, I'm going to go ahead, turn on Waverly's monitor, turn up the sound, and then turn the screen like off so it's not bright. And that's going to wrap up our evening routine. I'm going to climb into bed and sit on my phone for a little bit, talk to Trajan, and then we'll go to bed. But thank you guys all so much for being here and watching today's video. If you guys liked today's video, please give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any more of my videos, and leave me a comment. Those things always help boost my channel. And I will see you guys all in my very next video. Bye, you guys.